Navigating the internet comes with its own set of rules, one of which is don't feed the trolls. This is timeless advice. But what happens when you break that rule and give them what they want? In 2010, a security expert named Aaron Barr found out the hard way when he decided to take on one of the most notorious hacker groups in the world, Anonymous. At that time, Anonymous wasn't a typical group with a rigid structure. It was more of a collective of individuals with a shared cause. Yet Aaron Barr, along with his company HB Gary, thought he could expose them and track down their leaders. His motivation wasn't pure justice. It was about boosting his company's image and making a name for himself. He went public, announcing that he was going to bring down Anonymous and even planned to work with the FBI. While Aaron was busy basking in media attention, Anonymous had already begun to strike back. The first wave was classic Anonymous, a simple, distributed denial of service, DDoS, attack that took down HB Gary's website for hours, and in some cases, even days. Barr didn't get the message, though. He thought his research into the organization's leaders was so solid that the attacks were simply a sign of his success. He boasted about his intelligence, unaware that Anonymous was merely toying with him. Soon, things escalated. The group didn't just target his company. They got access to thousands of confidential emails and released them online, sending Barr's reputation into a spiral. It wasn't just his company that suffered. The parent company of HB Gary, seeing the damage Barr's antics had caused, distanced itself from him and even demanded that Barr retract his claims about Anonymous. Despite all the signs telling him to stop, Barr pressed on, thinking he could outsmart them. But Anonymous had already exposed him for who he was, an arrogant man who underestimated the power of the internet's darker corners. Then came the shocking moment when Aaron Barr's life turned upside down. 5 days before his scheduled meeting with the FBI, everything in his life crumbled. His internet, his social media accounts, even his emails were all hijacked by Anonymous. His website was defaced with graffiti announcing that he had been pwned, a public humiliation that left him in shambles. To top it off, the group released the emails he had worked so hard to protect, with some of his more unsavory plans now on full display. The damage was done. He had fed the trolls, and they had come back in full force, with a vengeance. This wasn't just a wake-up call for Aaron Barr. It became a cautionary tale for anyone in power or with influence who thought they could take on the trolls. They were playing a dangerous game, thinking that if they provoked them enough, they would emerge victorious. Barr's defeat became one of the most public examples of this folly. But what happens when you don't feed the trolls and instead they come to you? This brings us to the story of Shia LaBeouf's He Will Not Divide Us protest project, which was initially intended to be a peaceful resistance against the then-president Donald Trump. What started as a performance art piece outside the Museum of the Moving Image in New York soon turned into a battlefield as trolls from the 4chan community infiltrated the live stream. At first, the stream was filled with people voicing their opinions, supporting the protest. But before long, 4chan users began to use the live feed as a platform for trolling, posting edgy jokes and anti-Semitic remarks to get a reaction from Shia and those participating. Instead of ignoring the disruptions, Shia engaged with the trolls, which only fueled their behavior. This interaction escalated quickly, and soon Shia found himself clashing with both the trolls and his own supporters. After a series of confrontations, the protest was shut down and relocated to New Mexico. But even there, the trolls followed. The protest continued, but the more Shia tried to fight back, the more the trolls took control. The camera was eventually relocated to a flag, a symbol of the protest's ideals, in an attempt to thwart the trolls' tactics. But 4chan users, using their typical investigative methods, located the flag's position in just 38 hours. They then proceeded to steal the flag, leaving behind a Pepe the Frog t-shirt and a Make America Great Again hat. mocking Shia's entire cause. The protest, once a symbol of unity, was now a game for the trolls. Shia's final attempt to hide the flag in France, using a crane to install it on a building, only led to another 4chan victory. When a drone attempted to set the flag on fire, the trolls had once again outsmarted Shia. By the time the protest ended, it was clear that Shia's attempt to resist and rally against Trump had only united the trolls and those against him in one shared cause, trolling him. But it wasn't just individual figures who made the mistake of feeding the trolls. In the corporate world, companies like Sony learned the hard way too. In 2011, a hacker named George Geohot gained attention for jailbreaking the PlayStation 3, allowing users to run unauthorized programs and play pirated games. Sony, seeing this as a threat to their business model, decided to take legal action, and the rest of the tech world quickly took notice. Sony sent subpoenas to major tech companies, including Google and Twitter, trying to track down anyone who had supported George or downloaded the jailbreak code. This drew the attention of Anonymous, who were furious at Sony's overreach. They launched a massive cyber attack that took down Sony's online network for days, costing the company millions. While Sony and George eventually reached a settlement, the damage had been done. The attack was a clear message from Anonymous. Don't provoke us. The story didn't end there. A smaller, more skilled hacking group took advantage of Sony's vulnerability, breaching their systems and stealing the personal data of over 100 million accounts. The attack had far-reaching consequences, with Sony facing legal actions, regulatory scrutiny, and significant financial losses. These examples show us that whether you're a corporation, a celebrity, or even a hacker, feeding the trolls comes with serious consequences. You may think you can handle it, that you can outsmart the internet's darker corners, but the reality is much different. The best advice, as always, is to simply not engage, because when you feed the trolls, you're playing a game you can never win.